Are you new to the 4K format and you don't know where to start? Well, this video might be for you. What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Mid-Level Media channel, your hub for everything physical media and entertainment. Before we get into this, talking about the 4Ks that you need to buy if you're new to the format, the 4K starter pack, if you will, I need to ask, are you new to the channel? If you are, we talk about physical media all the time on this channel, new Blu-rays, 4Ks, all that good stuff. You're a fan of physical media, you're a fan of owning the movies that you love, all that stuff behind me, then definitely hit that subscribe button. Also, be sure to like this video and comment down below all the titles that I recommend to you today. What are you most likely to pick up to start your 4K collection? So I do realize that most of the people that follow me here on this channel already have an extensive 4K collection, but this is for the people that are just getting started into collecting for the 4K format. So I was asked on a recent live stream on my channel, they asked me, hey Ken, do you have a video on your channel where you're recommending 4Ks? Do you have a 4K introduction video for everybody? I said, you know what? Now that I think of it, no, I do not. So I rushed into thinking, what are some titles I should recommend to people that are just getting started on 4K, but also not only the best titles, but also the most affordable titles for starting your 4K collection. So all of these picks that I have here today, I have 13 movies to buy on 4K, will all cost you under $200. And yes, that's a lot of money, but these are great 4Ks. These are great movies that I recommend to anybody's collection, but especially in the 4K format. Now, some of these I don't own on 4K. I'm going to be showing off the Blu-ray editions, but I have heard incredible things about the 4K transfers. A couple of these I'm going to go ahead and put in my order for when we get done doing this video, because I just realized that I need those in 4K in my collection. How can I recommend them to you guys when I don't even have my collection? But the ones that I recommend, they're low in price, and I've also heard great things about the transfers and the audio and all that good stuff. So let's start off with the cream of the crop, in my opinion. Well, we got a few creams of the crops in here, but you gotta own The Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing. You gotta own this movie in 4K. It looks absolutely incredible. And these first 4 movies that I'm gonna be recommending, I'm gonna suggest and recommend that you get them off groove.com. I will be linking that down below in the description, but groove.com always has some great deals on 4Ks, and The Thing right now on 4K is $14.99 on groove.com. So not only is this one of my favorite Carpenter movies, it might be my favorite John Carpenter movie. It's such a great horror film. It's just one of the greatest horror films of all time, some of the greatest practical effects of all time. It's moody, it's atmospheric, it's scary as hell. Kurt Russell's in this movie. He's absolutely badass. So great in this film, and I would recommend this movie to anybody. It's such a great film, such a well done film. It is John Carpenter's masterpiece, and it looks incredible in 4K. Like, this 4K, I cannot say enough good things about it. So if you want to see what 4K can do, in particular some of these older films back in the 80s and the 70s, and some of the special effects and the work that they did practically with some of this effects work is just second to none, and that really stands out with this 4K and that HDR. So highly recommend that you own The Thing for $14.99. You also gotta buy Jaws, because it's Jaws, for God's sakes. Buy Jaws in 4K. It's one of the greatest movies of all time. It's probably in most people's top Steven Spielberg movies of all time. Not mine. I love E.T., but Jaws is a very close second. It is my number 4 movie of all time. Absolutely love and adore Jaws. I was so excited when this movie got announced for 4K, and it looks amazing. Like, that shark, you have never seen Bruce the shark like you've seen him in this movie. He looks absolutely amazing. And I got this lenticular cover, this cool lenticular slip. Probably not going to get this lenticular slip, but yeah, Jaws, you got to own it in 4K. It looks incredible. You can get it for $13.99 on groove.com. And getting into my third recommendation, I want to ask you guys to say hello to my little friend. That is right, Scarface. Scarface in 4K. Oh my God, does this look amazing? This movie blew me away. I watched it a couple of years ago for the first time, and man, oh man, had I been missing out my entire life. I could see the direct inspiration from a show that I love, Breaking Bad, And I love this movie so much. And I don't mean inspiration, Breaking Bad inspired this. I meant this inspired Breaking Bad. But I love this movie so much. Al Pacino, just one of the greatest actors of all time. He just nails the role of Tony Montana and just gives such a masterful performance in this movie. And I'm telling you right now, this is one one of the best 4K transfers that I've ever seen from Universal. They really did some great work with this release. It looks fantastic. I love everything about it. You gotta own Scarface. It's a classic movie from, when did this movie come out? 1983. But yeah, Scarface is freaking awesome. You gotta have it in your collection. You get it on groove.com for $14.99, which in my opinion is an absolute steal. Getting into my next recommendation. This is a Jordan Peele film. You got his new movie coming out, Nope. Just came out this past weekend, but I gotta recommend that you pick up Us in 4K. Now, I have the Best Buy exclusive Steelbook, but this is an incredible 4K transfer. It looks fantastic. And as much as I love the older films in 4K, I just feel like you can see more of improvements there. There are some really great new film transfers as well. We got a few new films that we're going to go through here in this stack, and Us is one of them. This is a movie that's shot mostly at night, so you can really see that contrast level in the HDR, and just everything pops. The red costumes that everybody's wearing in the film, just contrasted with the darkness of the night, just everything looks stellar. I'm thinking of that opening scene where she goes down. Everything's like has a blue tinge and tint to it. She goes down that maze, that mirror maze, and it's just all that stuff looks incredible in 4K. And Us is a spectacular, it's a really great movie. I really love this movie. I think it's super underrated. A lot of people didn't like this one when it first came out. I think it's a great slasher film. It's just, it's not of the level of Get Out to me, but it's a great slasher film. I absolutely love Us, and get this one right now for $10.99 on groove.com. So that's an absolute steal. Now, most of these you're not going to get with the beautiful slip covers. You got to buy those brand new most of the time to get those. So that's 4 incredible 4K discs for $55. But we're not done, guys. We've got 9 more to recommend, and it's going to bring us right to the $200 mark. I think about $10 shy of that. But we got some expensive ones here, mildly expensive ones. I don't want you guys to be missing out on some incredible stuff just because of the price, but Tremors in 4K is a must-own for anybody's 4K collection. It looks fantastic. Arrow Video did such a great job, and I gotta recommend some boutique stuff in here because the studios do a good job with 4Ks for sure, but nobody does a job like Arrow Video, Blue Underground, some of these other boutique labels, Scream Factory. They're really killing it in the 4K format, Kino Lorber. So I absolutely recommend that you jump into boutique labels and not just rely on the studio labels for all of your 4Ks and Blu-ray needs. Jump into these other labels because they are spectacular. Yes, you got to dig a little bit online, although Arrow Video does sell some of their stuff in store. You can find those in Best Buys, but not Walmart or Target for sure. But Tremors is a must own. Now, you can get this for $25 on Amazon, which is a steal because there's so many great features in this. If you're a fan of Tremors, you're going to be extremely satisfied with all the special features in here. And it's just one of the greatest creature features of all time. It's not as good as Jaws, I would never say that, but it's up there. It's up there. I really enjoyed Tremors, and you're not going to get this box set release, but $25 is what this costs on Amazon to just get this 4K case. And I'm telling you right now, it's so worth it. Definitely grab Tremors for the collection. Now I'm getting into some of the stuff that I haven't upgraded yet. I don't know why I haven't upgraded this film. It came out, I think, and I bought it on Blu-ray, and then I bought 2 and 3 and 4K, or I have 2 and 3 and 4K, but I need to upgrade John Wick, the first one, in 4K. But from what I hear, it's a great 4K transfer. John Wick on 4K is $10, and if you do not have John Wick in your collection, you have to have John Wick in your collection. So definitely add this 4K right away. And since I don't have the 4K, I just have the Blu-ray, I'll post an image of the 4K up here. But $10 for John Wick, and once you watch this, you're going to want the second one, you're going to want the third one. We just got the trailer for the fourth one, so John Wick is a high recommendation. Definitely get this in your collection for $10 on 4K. Close Encounters of the Third Kind is just one of the greatest science fiction films of all time, directed by Steven Spielberg. Came out, I think, a couple years after he did Jaws. Don't ask me why I don't have this on 4K, because I really don't have a good answer for you. When it came out, I bought it on Blu-ray, and I didn't want to spend the extra money on the 4K, I guess. But the 4K right now is $12.71, so that is a great price for a 4K. And I've heard incredible things about this 4K transfer for sure. I've heard it looks amazing, so definitely get this on 4K. I'm going to order this one for sure. This one and another one I'm definitely ordering when we get out of here, because together they're only like $25. But $12.71 for the 4K of Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Great film, and I'm sure it looks spectacular in 4K. The visuals in this movie are absolutely insane. Like when that spaceship comes in, I can just imagine it looks absolutely incredible. Let's get into the next one. Let's talk about a more recent movie. This is 1917. This is probably my favorite war film of all time. I love 1917. I remember being in the theater watching this. It was right before the pandemic hit. And I don't know, this movie, just everything, it fired on all cylinders. It's a perfect movie to me. And visually, oh my God, I watched this at home again. Looks fantastic. It's going to give your Dolby Atmos system a workout as well, because there's so much going on in this movie. Gunshots, explosions, like all of that stuff. The score in this film by Thomas Newman is just one of the greatest of all time. I love the score in this. It sounds incredible, looks incredible. I just love this film. Everything about this film is great. It's such an immersive experience. It's got that one-shot gimmick in it where you're seeing everything, nothing cuts. There's one small cut in the middle of the movie, but it all works to perfection. The cinematography is amazing. Roger Deakins did the cinematography in this movie, directed by Sam Mendes. I love 1970. You need to get this one on 4K, and you can get it right now for $12.51, which again is an absolute steal for 1917. Highly recommend that movie getting in your collection. First Blood, I talk about this movie all the time, but you can get First Blood for $12 on 4K. Now, I have the Steelbook. You're probably not going to get this one unless you look on eBay, but this is 12 bucks on 4K, and this is one of the best 4K transfers I've ever seen from the 80s. It looks spectacular. Of all the Rambo films, I'd say this one looks the best in 4K. You get those lush greens of the wilderness setting, and it looks incredible. Another one for $12 is Knives Out. This is a great film directed by Rian Johnson that came out a couple of years ago. I think actually 3 years ago now. Now, I don't have this on 4K either, but I have this Target edition Blu-ray right here, but I've heard that, you know, the transfer on this one's great as well. It looks really good in 4K, so I feel comfortable enough recommending it to you. It's a really fun movie, great ensemble cast. You got Jamie Lee Curtis, Chris Evans, Daniel Craig, so you got Captain America, Laurie Strode, and James Bond in a movie together. Who else you got in this thing? Michael Shannon. You got frickin' woman from Hereditary. I'm forgetting her name. Toni Collette's in this film. Lakeith Stanfield. It's got an incredible Christopher Plummer. Absolutely amazing cast, and I highly recommend that you own this one on 4K. And again, for 12 bucks, absolute steal for that one. Now I'm going to get back into the boutique labels. This is coming from Screen Factory. This is probably one of the more cheaper Screen Factories that you can pick up, and this is $22.99 to get a classic John Carpenter film. I've been recommending a lot of Carpenter, a lot of Spielberg, and it's for good reason. They're two of the greatest directors of all time, but They Live is an amazing movie from the 80s. I think this one came out in 1987 or 88. It's one of those years. Yeah, 1988, but it's got Rowdy Roddy Piper in it, kicking alien ass. Like, what's not to love? It's got a street alleyway fight scene between him and Keith David that lasts like 15 minutes, and they're like suplexing each other, throwing each other into trash cans and pallets, and it's such an amazing sequence. But this movie itself, it's just such a great movie. It's such an experience. If you have not seen They Live, I'm telling you right now, you will love this movie. But it looks incredible in 4K. Screen Factory did, as they usually do with their 4K transfers. Screen Factory, you can knock them for other stuff, but they do a great job with their 4K transfers, and They Live is definitely a spectacular 4K release from them. But getting into my last two, Casino. I gotta throw some Martin Scorsese in here. Casino, you can pick up for $15.99. It's a little bit on the steeper side for some of these studio releases that I'm recommending. But I'm telling you right now, don't let Goodfellas, the 4K transfer, that throw you off, because that one does not look great. But Casino, they made up for it with this one. Universal did this transfer, and I'm telling you right now, it is immaculate. It looks incredible. Oh my goodness, this is such a great 4K transfer. I wouldn't put Casino, I don't know if I could get Casino in my top 5 Martin Scorsese's movies. It's a great movie, don't get me wrong. The chemistry between De Niro and Pesci in this film was fully formed and fleshed out by this point, because they've done Goodfellas and Raging Bull. So they're great together in this movie. You got Sharon Stone in this film. I wouldn't get it in my top 5, but it's a great Martin Scorsese film. But the reason I have to recommend this is the 4K transfer. I'm telling you right now, It looks amazing. There's so many colors. It's set in Vegas, so you got that HDR just really firing on all cylinders. All the colors are popping, and it looks amazing. It's such a great 4K transfer, so I highly recommend you own Casino in the collection. You also need to own this Best Picture winner from 2020. This came out in 2019, but Parasite is available on 4K for $13.79. That closes out all of my 4K recommendations to bring us to a grand total of $191.31 for all of these incredible releases. But Parasite, I still just have on Blu-ray. I've never upgraded this movie. There's the Criterion, there's the 4K, but they kind of made me mad because they released this Blu-ray and they did the bullshit that they're doing now that everybody's getting pissed off about. They did the Blu-ray to this, and then 2 months later they did a 4K. So I said, screw it. I've got the Blu-ray. It looks good on Blu-ray, and I didn't get the 4K. But I've since heard incredible things about the 4K transfer. I've heard great things about the Criterion, so I need to update this one right away. So again, right after I get done filming this video, I'm going to order Parasite on 4K, and I'm going to order Close Encounters or The Third Kind on 4K. So have to have those in the collection on 4K for sure. But Parasite, I'm telling you right now, it's one of those movies that had the hype was so high for this one before it came out, and even when it came out, everybody loved it. And I went into the theater thinking it can't be that good. And I'm telling you, this movie blew me away, even with the highest of expectations. It's a South Korean film, so yes, you're going to have the subtitles. You're going to have to learn to live with that, but I'm telling you, you won't even notice. You'll get so caught up in all the dialogue and all the interactions between the characters. It's just one of the best films of the past 20, 30 years. It's definitely going to stand the test of time, and I'm so happy it won Best Picture because it absolutely deserved it. But Parasite is such a great movie. You got to own this one. If you're going to own it on $4K for $13.79. So there you have it, guys. That's my 13 movies that I feel like you need to own on 4K. If you haven't collected for 4K at all, that's a good starter pack for me. You got a good mix of movies, some classic movies, some movies from the 80s, the 70s, the 90s. Today, we got a wide range of movies here, a wide range of genres as well. You'll definitely enjoy all these films, and I feel like this is a pretty decent, 4K starter pack. But let me know, in the comment section below, do you think this is a decent starter pack? Would you recommend some other titles? Let me know in the comment section below. Also, let me know if you're going to buy any of these based on my recommendation. I will link all of these in the description below so you can check those out. But subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, guys. Liking the video definitely helps out the channel, helps me out, so I would definitely appreciate that. And also turn on those bell notifications for all future videos, and follow me on all my social media accounts. Those links are in the description, and we'll see you next time.